Hey everyone, welcome to Comic Book Curation Live. I am Polydub, and joining me, lonely, or in a lone fashion, is Jack from Bad Comic Reviews. Jack, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm uh, uh I'm elated that I have set a new record for late start times at a coming up on 3.5 hours. We should have gone another 7 minutes, and we could have gone 3.5 hours late. It's whatever, you know. But I'm getting more and more to like Monkey's suggestion that it should be our shtick that we start late, we never start on time. I mean,
Yeah, it's an intentional thing, right?
yeah. Well, Ethan Van Sciver, he's like the biggest comics. Well, is he bigger than your boy Zach yet in terms of subs? I don't think he is.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, okay, the big comicsgate guys right now, they're not. They don't start on right. They don't have a schedule. You know who does have a schedule and pisses me off? That son of a bitch, that umbrella guy. The guy says, oh, I'm going to start at 5 Eastern. And then, 5 Eastern comes around and his fucking show starts. Fuck that guy, man.
Yeah, what's that all about? Clearly a communist plant.
That guy, I know I've said it before and I'll say it again, man. That guy's organizational ability blows my mind. He'd probably laugh out loud to hear that. It's like, I'm a disorganized guy and so forth. But it's like, you don't know what disorganization is, my friend. You have no idea.
Yeah, he's a little ADD is about his only real problem. Otherwise, he's got all this techno stuff nailed.
Well, okay. You said it before, and it's like, yeah, okay, I understand what you mean that he's ADD because, like, he can get distracted very quickly and he's tangential in terms of the subject matters that he's handling. But it's not like he's walking through his house about to start a stream and starts getting distracted by shiny objects in the corner or something. Like, he always manages to get there eventually.
True.
Well, there's the thing. Hey Camel says, no Inquisitor, so no Spider-Man talk tonight. Well, hey Camel, if you would like to go on to Twitter and suggest that Inquisitor is shirking his responsibilities as a fellow streamer, well, I'm not going to encourage anyone, but that's something you might want to, could do.
I'm not saying do it, but I'm not saying it either.
That's right. I neither confirm nor deny any suggestion that everybody listening go fuck with Quiz on Twitter.
Like, well, he's probably in bed. What are you talking about? It's like 1:30.
Yeah, I know. I hit him up on Discord and on Twitter, and he hasn't shown up yet. But
yeah, well,
I'll have a good laugh when he's like, "What the fuck, man?"
Yeah, be like, hey, Daywalker, what are you doing? This sleep nonsense.
Yeah, look at all the. We got more people than I thought. Peter's here. Some jackass named Bad Comic Reviews is here. Hate Gamble's here. Cracks here. Shady's here. Lots of fun people. So,
yeah,
been a hell of a day in comic book nerdery news.
Oh, yeah, man, it's been kind of nutso.
Yeah, we were gonna last stream. I said we were gonna touch on certain topics because I hadn't read certain comics, and I read them, but more important stories need to be discussed tonight. It's not that I just didn't read them yet. Again. You know how I get I do way too many digital comics these days. I like the way that I did it back in the day more with long boxes where I would kind of just like finger my way through them. It's like, and I would go, oh, this one. And I would pull it out. Now that's taken that random reading habit of mine and made it even more random because you're just, going into Windows Explorer and you're looking at a file and then it's like folder names. And then you click on one and they're all just like whatever comic, like X-Men number 355, 356, 357, that kind of thing. And I really got to get onto some like cover stuff. It's like Jim Healy said last time, you do judge comics a lot by their cover, and it also helps you select which one you want to read.
It depends for me. I'm so particular anymore. Like I always buy physical copies, and
right.
I don't like getting the digital ones. The old Kindles used to really hurt my eyes because I have really bad eyes. So my eyes are very light sensitive sometimes, and the backlighting would always mess with them. So I didn't read anything electronically for a long time. I don't even particularly like looking at the news online. So I'm a physical copy kind of guy. I'm old though.
Peter S., aren't you meant to be doing a Star Trek stream with Blind Press, Polly? Yeah, tomorrow, right?
I don't know.
I'm
not paying attention to what's going on. I don't know what I'm doing. Why would I know what you're doing?
Yeah. Blind Press, 5 hours ago, she said, join me tomorrow night for the Star Trek stream where we talk about the pilot episode of the animated series. And possibly the fucked up Borg storyline in Voyager, because that always makes me mad, lol. Is she one of those? The Borg were stupid as soon as they had a queen. Well, they're a hive mind. It's not... Anyway, I've got my opinions on that, and I'll be serving them up en masse. But yeah, Peter...
All I heard just now was Star Trek.
You're... What are you, one of those Stargate guys? You want one of those Babylon 5 people?
I don't have that much of an affinity for anything anymore.
You guys are gay. Bring on the dancing girls. Oh, well.
If I had any dancing girls, I would not be on a stream right now.
I don't have any dancing girls, but there's our thumbnail for today. That's a girl.
Boobies.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's like covering the screen where I was reading the chat. So it's like you guys are just gonna have to. Well, I'd rather look at super hot Rachel Summers than chat. No offense, guys. No offense. Just come on. She's hot. What do you want from me? And here's one thing. Okay, this is after they changed her costume yet again. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The most maligned and terribly used and poorly misunderstood character that I know of in the Marvel universe is Rachel Summers, who they changed her name to Rachel Gray. Fuck. Every costume change that they put her through, it just gets worse and worse. It's not that she doesn't look sexy in a leather halter top and leather mini skirt and like calf high leather boots, but it's like she went from like a flexible costume to a pleather or latex mini skirt, like you know the jokes in and around like how you're supposed to fight crime in these things. Like seriously, look what she's wearing. How are you supposed to fight crime in that?
She looks like she's halfway committing a crime. Wait, how much, honey?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's fine, but anyway. So, what were we talking about before I put up Rachel Summers looking smoking hot?
We were talking about the news.
Oh, that's right, the news. So, do we want to get on to what do we want to start with? Well, okay, let's start with the smaller stories, and then we will. Sorry, guys, I got to cut that picture off because I need to look at my stories here. Let's see. One of our favorite websites of all time, bleedingcool.com, has a new editor-in-chief by the name of Caitlin Booth. Who wants to see the new editor-in-chief for Bleeding Cool?
That's a trick question, guys. He's going to show you anyway.
There she is. And she's coming in to Jack and I were being pretty mean before the stream started.
I deny this. I am a lovely individual who's never mean.
So yeah, it's a good thing that lying isn't a violation of terms of service.
It's not a lie, it's a truth alteration. They have no evidence otherwise.
Yeah, and we're frankly we're kind of confused by this because Rich Johnston, who's like founder, co-owner, whatever the fuck of Bleeding Cool, operating out of his mother's basement, was the EIC for Bleeding Cool for the longest time, and now he's hired Miss Caitlin Booth here as editor-in-chief, and says he's looking forward to taking marching orders from her. And it's like, what? I don't.
That was his exact expression too, was marching orders.
Yeah,
that's a weird thing to say.
We will be reporting to her on a daily basis. And it's like, I don't, is that the, like,
she used to be the film critic for them. Like, he
yeah.
was her boss. How did she get promoted?
So it's like he's stepping back. Why? It's, I mean, I guess ultimately it doesn't matter because it's just fucking bleeding cool, but it sparks the imagination, man. It's like, are you going on to something better? Like, finally, Rich Johnston? Well, how long is this? Seriously, Jack, how long has that guy been desperate to try and get into the industry? The guy does his own, full air quotes, comics, or at least wants to, and he's willing to shill any narrative that's going on in the industry that they would have him push to hopefully get on their good side. At least that's been the criticism leveled at him over and over again. Did he finally fucking score something that he couldn't do the EIC job full time anymore?
I don't know. It might be one of those training your own replacement situations.
But he's like an owner. Like,
no, Avatar Press owns Bleeding Cool. He's not the owner. He sold it. Avatar Press owns it.
Oh. Huh. Well, she's certainly very social justice-y looking.
Oh, yeah. We were poking around her Twitter earlier, and
before we talk about her Twitter, let's talk about what she looked like a long time ago.
In the long ago, in the far, far away.
Jack and I were like, that's not the same person. That can't be the same person. I mean, seriously. Okay, so like there she is. Here she is on her blog, Caitlin Booth, with the old-timey marquee font. I recognize that. It comes standard native in Photoshop. And then here she is now. Like, does that even look like the same person, y'all?
No.
We didn't believe it. But then we found other pictures and tracked it, like, sort of. She's part of the Utah Film Critics Association, and then from an article she wrote, reconnected us back to her www.caitlinbooth.com. That is her.
Yeah, Shady and Peter are saying that can't be the same person, but it is. We tracked her down, and all the links come through, but there are other photos. This is just one of her better ones that you're seeing.
And that is one of the finest examples of, like, anyone could take a good picture and anyone could take a bad picture, and this is the fucking ladder, man. Like,
yeah, do you still have the podcast pulled up?
I am just looking along my tabs. I do not.
I will pull that up real quick because that was a good indicator of what the transitionary period.
Peter says the nose does look familiar. The nose is the least familiar thing, Peter. What the hell
is it because it looks like a penis?
That was we spent a inordinate and probably sad amount of time discussing whether or not this nose was that nose and so forth. Hair color and feminist veganism. Yeah, I don't.
So here's a different picture of her, probably a little early in her social justice career, and then you move up a few, and here she is here, and she doesn't look that crazy, right? She just looks like kind of a average looking, attainable chick. But then if you click onto her Twitter like this, boom, that's the chick with the big honking nose, and you can see the dyed hair and the problem glasses, the sad underbags of her eyes that tell her that her cats kept her up all night as she wept into a pillow.
And Jack's not making that up. She references cats on her Twitter. Just
like a lot.
Yeah.
Like a sad amount. So, I mean, that it's really her. It's shocking because they're totally different looking photos. It makes me sad.
And I think it goes towards the thing we were saying the other day, like-minded people and hiring like-minded people and keeping, when belt tightening starts to happen, keeping like-minded people around. Mm-hmm. Like, this is the person that they put in place as editor-in-chief at Bleeding Cool. Well, that's just not surprising at all, is it?
No. And here's my favorite photo of her. She has the Fist of Solidarity and Power Captain Marvel outfit, Funko dolls, giant nose, problem glasses, and red hair now. I don't know. This was back in September. But yeah, she looks like just another carbon copy social justice warrior that used to be a normal person, and now life has become sad for her in some way.
Have you heard my theory on a cure for zealotry, including feminism?
No. Does it involve a pit full of fire ants?
No. Because that will make them righteously indignant in their cause. This is my legitimate social experiment, but it just happens on an individual level. My suggestion is that you take somebody who's zealous, but be they a social justice warrior or, thinks Trump is literally Hitler, or somebody who wears their MAGA hat to work all day with their suit and tie because they're insane. Like, like anybody who's zealous is what I'm getting at, Here's the thing. Break free what you're doing every day. No internet access. Go off the grid. And I don't mean off the grid like you can't use your credit card. I just mean like off social media. You understand what I'm saying? No Twitter, no Facebook for you. None of that shit. Stop talking to your zealous friends. Eat lean meats in small portions, lots of grains and vegetables, and go for an exercise every day. Like at least 20 minutes of walking or running. I'm telling you, 6 months or 6 weeks, they wouldn't be the same person. It would only take 6 weeks. I'm talking 8 hours of sleep a night, no social media, eat well. I don't think they'd be the same people. That's my theory. I think they sit around all day eating Cheetos, bathing, steeping in whatever makes them angry, and not sleeping at night. That's my theory.
Yeah. Well, I think that they're people with too much free time, and they don't have a lot of real life friends or activities. And yes. I'm a borderline shut in. I don't like going outside, mostly because I hate people. But they just kind of bask in the social media stuff, and they get into their echo chamber, and it reinforces what they think. And I think a detox would be good for them.
That's what I'm saying. It's like a physical. That's a good way of putting it. It's a physical and mental detox would be the. I hear you. Like they don't have a lot of friends, but they go online and then they find like-minded people, and then like this is Tumblr just on different subjects. And god damn it, Zelthor and.
I was waiting for you to see that.
Well, look.
Oh, I love that term, Peter. Dead root. That's what they call boring people. The boring fucks. Like if somebody lays there like a sack of wheat when you're banging them, I'm going to use that for boring people in general now, because that's what this chick looks like. She looks like somebody that'll lay there like a sack of wheat, and it'll feel like you're fucking a corpse. Okay, this is getting harsh now. Apparently, in my head. I realize what I'm saying out loud, but it kind of goes in with the theme. They're not people that are diehard interesting people. They're just kind of bland individuals that don't have anything particularly that sticks out about them. They don't have a lot of personality or traits that make them stand out in any respect. So that they're trying to compensate for that, and basking in all this unhealthy social media stuff really just feeds into that. Like, oh, you need to be special. And most social justice warriors that I've met are incredibly boring people.
And we can't forget about the psychological reward of being able to recognize the enemy and point your moralizing finger at them and say Nazis.
Yeah,
because if they're them, that means you're you and on the good side and the right side of history. Now you're doing something substantive, by tweeting.
Yeah, they feel like they're involved and they're doing something without actually needing to do anything, which is hard because it requires effort. And I think that's a really unhealthy mindset for anyone, but you see it with cult members too.
So you guys are catching me wrong. This is the thing. I'm after I'm done with this stream, I have plans to go get a Slurpee and a bag of Cheetos. So I have nothing against Cheetos. Hate Camel and Zelthor, nothing. My point is, when that comprises the entirety of your diet, plus everything else that's coming in is what's the word I heard someone use as an alternative to toxic the other day? It was rancid.
Mm.
And I thought that was priceless. When everything else that's coming in is fucking rancid, that's no good. You can't sit there all day, and Zelthor can attest to this. You know, you watch like angry videos all day fucking long, and man, it'll seep into your brain. You know, make sure there's some comedy in there too, some other things. But when you start dyeing your hair a certain color to identify with a given group, and you get that mental illness side cut, you know, this is when you turn into Zoe Quinn. You've gone full retard.
Yeah. Well, it really is kind of a cult mentality, because they have that same sort of indoctrination. You separate people that are different than you instead of talking out your situation. And yeah, it does. Like they start developing uniforms then.
The hair is a fucking uniform.
In a way it is, because like everybody kind of looks the same. That's why the military make you cut your hair in that weird buzz cut, and then you all have uniforms, and you all are, it's depersonalizing, but they view that as being part of an individually oriented group. It's an individuality uniform. Because if you walked into a hardcore social justice meeting in a suit and tie, they'd be like, "Hey, what up, cop?"
Yeah, look at narcs here. I mean, seriously, tell me, look at this woman, and like, do you think she's not there to judge you and tell you how you're doing something wrong?
Yeah, she looks like she's judging me through the screen. I mean, I feel like I should be like wondering when my library books are due. But you know, she could make herself look. At least her hair color is kind of normal there. You know, at least it's a shade of red that's not, you know,
well, that's
ridiculous.
Right. She actually describes herself, if we go over here, as she is not a social justice warrior. She's a social justice red mage. Yeah, I love this. This is like this is before she, you know, because if we go over here again, this is the same woman, guys. Like this is
yeah, she just covers her forehead and like has a bigger nose now.
But she is a blogger, so let's see what she's blogging about. Nothing found. Oh,
not a very good blogger.
Not a good blogger at all.
By that definition, I am a heart surgeon and a truck driver.
That's cold, man. That's cold. Yeah, this is not. This is like a placeholding web page for better description of anything. Like this website is just so no one else can take the name CaitlinBooth.com. Kind of seems like, because there isn't really much here.
Yeah,
just her like in another lifetime. Good times. All right. Well, enough beating up on Caitlin Booth and the
we've only begun, my friend.
Well, yeah, if you want to read through her Twitter, yeah, she's like an anti-comicsgater, and you know, retweeting people that are complaining about Ethan Van Sciver, and she's really into Funko Pops. The list goes on, man.
Fake nerd. Funko Pops equal fake nerds. Nerds sometimes have Funko Pops, but not all Funko Pops are nerds.
And she did go to the New York Comic Con. Shocking. She also retweets SJW Spider-Man because, you know, of course.
She probably got a free pass for being press to get in there. So, Zelthor says my mageisms are not your goddamn prom dress. And yes, so Camel, social justice, social justice red mage.
She actually, that picture that's on her, Jesus Christ. The picture that's on her Twitter that I just talked about is her new profile picture as of September 21st, according to her Twitter. I didn't realize that. Let's just look at that in higher resolution, shall we? Why did you put red eyeliner on the bottom of your eyes? It makes you look like you're...
That's from crying. That's her sad eyes.
We're so mean. Oh, fuck.
So you can just see Mr. Mittens coming up and cuddling her right now and be like, meow, meow, sorry. It's
and again,
okay, feed me.
This is the same person, guys. Don't let this rancid material into your soul. I'm telling you. See, that I believe this person was living the poly program for a healthy life, and this person was not.
Yeah. There was a SJW transition period in there somewhere, and It makes me sad.
Hold on.
Although I would agree with Peter that I would probably still have sex with her.
Well, this woman right here, if she calmed the fuck down and didn't worry so much about how people are selling comics about frogs with cybernetic implants, like, and somehow that equals alt-right. Look at this tweet above her new profile pic. I got my feelings hurt the other day. I'm not sure how to go about approaching it. Do I just move on? Do I try and fix something when I'm sure there was anything there to begin with? What?
Yeah, Twitter is not your therapy time.
Yeah, this is...
I mean, that's weird.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. These are the kind of things you handle in therapy, not in public. Like this... Okay. Do I try and fix something when I'm unsure there was anything there to begin with? Does that sound like someone who has IRL friends to talk to? It doesn't.
Oh, that sounds like somebody with deep emotional problems.
There's replies.
This
Let's see what the touchy-feely replies are. Oops. Hold on. I want to open the thread, not actually reply to her. Somebody liked that tweet. Why?
I'm going to go like it just to be funny.
Your feelings are valid. I think it's important to voice your feelings. It's the only way to communicate through things. Kind of. People who know what happened believe my feelings are justified and I'm not overreacting. But what is this? Like attempting to reel you in with the mystery? What the fuck are you talking about, lady?
I call this the Mr. Mystery complex, where they try and sound like they know something, whether it's like the truth about the aliens at the Dulce base in Arizona. No, you're just some weirdo that needs attention. Stop. Your issues are not that interesting. And I agree with Gregory Hurst. That shade of eyeliner is known as Daddy Issues Red. Thank you, Gregory.
Nice.
That's a good one.
I love the Kirsten who responded to her. Her bio says single mom, belly dancer, writer, filmmaker, feminist, pagan, reader, soul searcher, total geek. And Utah, it seems that she
Utah used to be cool. What the hell? You had like...
It did?
Yeah, they had like the cool Mormon cults that you could marry a bunch of people and then there'd be dead bodies involved.
You mean back in like the Brigham Young days? I thought... Okay,
no, I mean like 20 years ago. There was that dude that Warren Jeffs. Yeah, like might have killed some people, had like 18 wives. All right, that's cool and interesting. All right, I think there were some cults out that way. It's still Western.
Chat is about to start quoting you, Jack. That like had cool cults where you can marry all kinds of people.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't want a sucky cult. Bad cults are bad cults. So those are like the boring ones that sit around and smoke dope. Cool cults do stuff like polygamy. All right, you're getting my interest now. I will watch a video documentary on you when you go to jail.
Cool rituals where we have cloaks and candles,
Yeah, sexy it up a little, let's cause a new satanic panic, that sort of thing. But
speaking of satanic panic and pagans, I love that I was able to successfully branch off of the new editor-in-chief of Bleeding Cool with that. Six Hex and Hammer, I was watching his video from this morning and he goes, yeah, because Satanism isn't good. Because I mean, let's be honest, it's just theism with a floor show.
It's not wrong.
I laughed my ass off.
I mean, the Pope just stole all his cool gear from other religions.
Apparently. Well, everything's stolen. Christianity stole everything if you listen to Sticks, X, and Hammer. Unless, of course, he's talking about cultural appropriation. Then that theory is complete bullshit.
Yeah, but I mean, like, All Saints Day is just Halloween with a new face. The Pope's hat was stolen from the Dagon religion because they killed Samson. So, yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm cool with it. I got no real issue. That's how you win. But the Catholics is a lot of standing and kneeling, so I never really got into it. If I wanted cardio, I'd go to the gym.
All right, Gregory Hurst, I'll bite. What is the Blue Oyster Cult?
It's a band.
Oh.
You don't know who the Blue Oyster Cult is?
No, you got me.
Gregory, you're over 30, aren't you? That's a band from the 60s.
I just saw watching go from 12 down to 9. Thanks, Jack. It was bringing up the Mormons that did it. Everyone just ran away.
I love the Mormons. I dated a Mormon chick, and I would have married her. She was awesome. Yeah, you're close. 29. I knew it.
And
That's not something an 18-year-old would know.
I'm going to follow Steven Crowder's plan here, just to repeat it often. And if you're watching this material and happen to like it, remember to press subscribe and also hit the notification bell, because YouTube notifications suck. Also press like and send it to your friends. Moving on.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, you guys. Peter and Shady both shared.
Did they? They're awesome.
Yep.
Don't Fear the Reaper. Is that a song?
Yeah, that's a Blue Oyster Cult song.
Oh. I was watching Internet Historian's video that I had missed, that he did like a live read of a really bad fanfic of some Harry Potter fan fiction.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And it was bad. I had to take it in parts because it was just that bad. You know, everyone's a vampire. And she kept bringing up the author. She kept bringing up
My Immortal. Yeah.
Yes, My Immortal.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. We both did a reading of it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. I kind of, because he's picking like particular parts. But so anyway, the two bands that kept coming up, and I was like, I've heard of them, but I can't place them in any kind of way. My Chemical Romance and Good Charlotte. And I had to open it up because they kept getting named so often. I was like, what do these bands sound like? Are they like thrash metal or death metal or something? Like, because she's all goth and shit.
No, they're just pussy goth bands.
Oh man, it was so angsty.
Yeah.
Like, I opened another tab and checked out, like, okay, what is like the most viewed Good Charlotte video? And I was like, oh Jesus, I know this song, the anthem.
Yeah.
I was anyway, just like you. I don't know where I heard that. It was probably in a mall somewhere or something, but it was
just... it's like Hot Topic music.
Whew.
Like, it's poser music. I mean, you don't see people that like Misfits listening to that crap.
And the My Chemical Romance was just confusing. Holy shit, they got a big video budget. Wow.
They're like corporate goth music, I guess.
Corporate goth? That's
like, you know, like you walk into a Hot Topic and it's a corporate setup. Everything looks the same at every Hot Topic.
Oh my God, we've lost another viewer. We're down to 8. This is just
That's not my fault. You're the one that was bad mouthing Good Charlotte.
Obviously, all the Good Charlotte fans took off. I'm sorry, guys. Come back. You know, yeah, that's sad. Maybe I should bring the Hot Marvel Girl back up as the screen. Let's see.
Well, we don't have any hashtags in this one.
Hold on. Let me drag this over there. Bring the Hot Marvel Girl back up. Over this screen. You guys don't want to see the hentai I was looking at, do you? No, you don't want to see it.
I don't mind, but Google might.
Yeah. There we go. Hot Marvel Girl. Let's see. The article that I wanted to do. So yeah, I think we've covered Caitlin Booth and the new. So we should expect a complete editorial 180 from Bleeding Cool, right? Like it shouldn't. It's not going to read. The articles won't read any social justice angle anymore. They won't be shilling for the industry anymore.
Just be more the same.
Oh no, Jim Healis showed up. Jim, you have class. You shouldn't be here. We're doing a really terrible, spiteful stream right now.
I have no class and shame, so I have no problem with what's happening here. Jim may want to avert his ears.
Yeah, we're picking low hanging fruit tonight, unfortunately. But let's move on to Chuck Wendig, because that is the big story of the day. All the garbage tier sites have covered it, and we're garbage tier, so we'll cover it as well.
I prefer bottom feeder. Because garbage implies that at one point somebody wanted to use it, whereas we are always useful. We clean the ocean floor.
Yeah, good point. Lobsters are bottom feeders, and they're
lobsters are sea roaches. That's all.
No.
They're not useful.
According to my ex-girlfriend, shrimp are sea roaches, and lobsters
like they're different. Lobsters, crawdads, shrimp, they're all the same thing. They're all sea insects. It's like the difference between a cockroach and a cricket. They're both roaches. They're just one's more socially acceptable.
Let's So here's Chuck Wendig. This is the tweet that he put up after Brett Kavanaugh was confirmed. Winter is coming, you callous fucknecks, you prolapsed assholes, you grotesque monsters, you racists and rapists and wretched abusers, you vengeful, petty horrors. This,
first of all, did he mean horrors as in scary, or did he misspell it? And second of all, winter is coming. Stop making Game of Thrones and Harry Potter references. Read other books.
Well, see, now there was the thing. When I first read that, winter is coming. Like, I'm not a Game of Thrones big fan, but I did, of course I recognize the reference. And I'm thinking, you mean like winter is coming, like November 6th midterm election day is coming, and watch out, you prolapsed assholes and grotesque monsters, etc. Because we're gonna like blue wave you right the fuck out of there.
No, I don't think he's smart enough to make that reference.
He's a blue check mark, guys. I mean, of course he is, but I just didn't notice that he was a blue check mark until now. Okay. So this guy's pretty mind-blowing. He is, definitely not a fan of what is generally referred to as comicsgate. He trolls the hashtag comicsgate hashtag, like on Twitter, just looking for problems, issues to raise hell over. Chuck Wendig is a Star Wars writer, largely. He is a writer, a professional one, writes both novels and comics. And he has been fired, this guy, for, let's hear it in his own words. After being fired, he says, I know it hands Comicsgate a big win. It will embolden them, but they won. I'm out of Marvel, and I guess, at least, out of any kind of Star Wars. Do your victory lap, I guess. Just please leave me out of it. No, I won't. No. It's, I don't know, to kind of toot my own horn, I think the way that I responded to it kind of sums up the way that I feel regarding him getting, this is a guy who repeatedly called for deplatforming of comics gators, or people that were just like, they're not even self-identified comics gators,
he went beyond that, because did you see the previous article they wrote? He called Star Wars fans white supremacists. I mean, that was back in June, and they didn't fire him for that. So
yeah,
this has been building up for a while.
Yeah, he had. Oh my God, it has for a while. Like, it's interesting in reading Booth's, the new editor-in-chief of Bleeding Cool, reading her comments on stop tagging Ryan Johnson, Roundhead Ryan Johnson, in your tweets. He doesn't care. He doesn't owe you a response. And it's like, I don't know if any of the people that are tweeting like Ryan Johnson, Last Jedi was not good. And I mean, we could get away from, you ruined my childhood, look what you did to Luke Skywalker and so on. I mean, on a storytelling level, it's not good.
Yeah. Visually, it was fine. It was a Star Wars.
Yeah, there's lots of beautiful visuals in it. I'll go along with that. Sure. I mean, they had lots of talented CGI people working for them, great cinematographers. The list goes on.
Yeah.
I mean, on a basic story level, like what is it that Rey overcame would be my question. She overcame her respect for Master Skywalker.
Yeah, and she overcame the patriarchy while doing it. See, that's really what it was about, because that's all I got out of it.
Because I thought that, a central element of writing is conflict. What is your protagonist? Rey is ostensibly the protagonist of The Last Jedi. What is it that she overcame? What was her conflict? Well, her conflict was, I need to find Master Skywalker because he is the great Jedi that will help us all and return peace and justice to the galaxy through the Force somehow. Like, she never says why she's looking for Skywalker exactly. It's just sort of like intimated at, Yeah,
she needs training. They need his help. Blah blah. Blah.
She never says she wants to be a Jedi at any point. Like, up until she finds Master Skywalker, I'm going to go find him so I can be a Jedi. She's really going and finding him to hand him the Skywalker family lightsaber, like, for some reason, and because General Organa, Leia wants him to find. Because that's her brother, so it's like, go find him. Why? You people don't know each other, as we've been led to believe up until now, even though you entered into a deep embrace when you first saw each other, never having seen each other before.
I think Abrams' idea was that Princess Leia knew something about Rey's background, maybe sensed it in the Force, and was sending her to find Luke because she knew that this girl had Force powers, because obviously Mary Poppins had Force powers too. And maybe like get some training while you're out there and tell Luke we need him.
That would be a fine storyline. But Rian Johnson, who apparently is a great storyteller, according to all these people who say stop tagging him, his idea was no, her parents just sold her for drinking money.
Yeah, well, he wanted to break away and do something completely different, and I don't think he knew how to do that, because there were a lot of plot threads that were already left for him that he was supposed to use, and he didn't use them.
Well, he was trying to subvert expectations, Jack. Don't you understand?
Yeah, that means throwing things away and making garbage.
Apparently it does. And
whatever.
I've had people point out to me, no, the conflict is not about her trying to become a Jedi and move on from her past. And, Luke is a lowly farmer at the beginning of A New Hope, right? He's just a moisture farmer. He dreams of bigger and better things, of adventure, wide-eyed optimist. This guy, he wants to fight against the evil empire. And then, so his conflict is becoming more fighting against this big nefarious evil that's out there, and overcoming the simplicity of his backwateredness. Okay, is that what's going on with Rey? Because she didn't really make that clear exactly. It is supposed to be, well, no, that's not the conflict with her. The conflict is between her and Kylo. And it's like, it is? What's their conflict? That they have a connection? She doesn't understand it?
No, I think that a better story would have been that she goes completely like Sith Lord, and Luke has to salvage Kylo and bring him back to the light side to save the universe. That would have been a better movie. I would have watched that movie, because like that whole scene where she doesn't even try and stop herself from giving into the dark side would have been cool. That could have been a cool thing if they were like doing a role reversal, but they didn't. They just made some garbage trash. But Shady's right. We have drifted significantly far off topic.
Yeah. So anyway, Roundhead Rian Johnson has received endless support from both Booth and Wendig, who has found himself fired. Now let's talk about why he's been fired. So who do we want to listen to? Garbage tier, or kind of not garbage tier, but still behaves like they're garbage tier?
Well, they're pretty all garbage tier except for Bounding Into Comics, and I know you're not talking about them.
Well, here's your options. Mary Sue, Bleeding Cool, and Entertainment Weekly.
Okay, let's go right into the feminist garbage with Mary Sue.
Mary Sue, okay. Oh, hey, Pop-Tart's here. Hey, Pop-Tart. Oh, and Stargazer Nuts is here. Hey, Stargazer. Awesome to have you here.
I'm sure her name is Stargazer Nights, isn't it?
I like nuts because that's what Monkey calls. So, Mary Sue. Their title is pretty clear. Marvel fires Star Wars author Chuck Wendig for not being civil, and we're furious.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said before we started, the Mary Sue, the writers, they're furious about something? That's shocking.
Oh, those angry cat ladies are never upset about anything.
Actually, now I feel bad.
Why?
Stargazer, what is your preferred pronunciation? You let me know, and that's what we'll go with from now on. Forget what Monkey wants. So, Mary Sue. Let me preface this piece by saying I am not an unbiased source.
No, really?
Hold on. I'm just gonna I want to copy that for later use. That's the most legendary beginning to anything I have ever read from the Mary Sue. Oh shit. Oh, the Mary Sue. There we go. It's just so it's immortalized in text. Okay, back to the article. Let me preface this piece by saying I am not an unbiased source when it comes to my feelings on Chuck Wendig and his politics, with his Aftermath series, and with the character Singer. I have seen for the first time by a franchise that categorically denied my existence as a queer person.
Oh man, I this is a long freaking article. I skipped ahead a little.
Oh,
And
it is rather long. So it's like the character Sinjir, this person saw for the first time a franchise that categorically denied their existence as a queer person. Wendig's books are
what?
like, I'm sorry, am I reading that wrong, Jack? Like that sounds like
No.
Wendig wrote a character by the name of Sinjir, and this was the first time this author ever saw their existence categorically denied. Is that right? Like that's like not a fan, right? Am I misunderstanding?
Um, I think she's supporting Wendig. It's the denial is that he was fired because of this character. Is how I interpreted that.
I have felt I felt seen. Jesus Christ, I misread that. Let me read it as written.
Yeah.
I felt seen for the first time. A franchise. You felt
Which
seen?
is not grammatically correct.
Are you sure?
I felt I was seen for the first time. I felt seen is like ghetto talk. I felt seen, yo.
Are you sure? Because
that's how people talk. That's not how
but there's
write.
woke speak out there. Like, you know, you don't understand. You overstand because you understand more of it. So you're overstanding. Maybe felt seen is like your feelings are involved in what you're seeing.
No, their feelings are all they talk about. So yeah, of course. Somebody noticed me. Oh, I'm conflicted.
Okay, so she is a fan, or he. Hold on, who is this? Kate Gardner. We're going to go with she. I'm going to assume the gender is she. All right.
Oh, you monster.
I know. Wendig's books are fantastic. His presence on Twitter is charming. Prolapsed assholes, y'all. That's charming. That's okay.
Oh yeah, it's
and I'll never look at at heirloom apples without laughing. Furthermore, I don't care. I saw him as an ally in an ongoing fight, not only for representation in media, but in terms of actual real life politics. Those monster horror prolapsed assholes out there. That's the real life fight she's referring to, guys. So imagine my shock and horror when I refreshed Twitter today to see him announce that he had been fired by Marvel off their Star Wars titles because of him being vocal and political on Twitter. In a lengthy and informative Twitter thread, Wendig detailed his ongoing relationship with Lucasfilm and Marvel, starting with the Aftermath trilogy. It's worth noting that he's received serious and targeted harassment since 2015, and the big reveal that his book contained 3 queer characters. Yeah, that's entirely why. That's the sole reason why. It wasn't like poking the fucking sleeping bear that is comicsgate people, generally speaking, and whether they identify as that way or not, but they're just not happy with the general way the industry is going.
It's because of the heavy-handed nonsense and the fact that these books are garbage. I talked to a couple of my Star Wars fans about this guy, and they're like, his books are crap.
Okay. It has only been worse since then. As a fan, I've watched as he's dealt with trolls who resented a non-binary character in Life Debt and Empire's End, who resented that he liked The Last Jedi. You use the word resented in the same sentence twice. Who got angry when he spoke about his politics. That's a dangling participle.
Hey, the whole thing is
I gotta stop
English teacher's nightmare.
I just okay. And now, and it is possible to start a sentence with the word and. It, however, has been incorrectly done here. And now, a week after he was announced as the writer for the Shadow of Vader miniseries, he has been fired. And his tweet, as of today, says basically because I was not civil. Yeah, you were more not civil, dude. You were spitting venom and rancid vitriol. It was you had polemics, not tweets, dude. Well, polemics implies that you're saying, here's what this person did and it's scumbaggy because of this. This guy would just throw out hate labels. Like, don't believe me. Scroll through his Twitter before he scrubs it, man.
Oh no,
like,
see, she has no problem with what he was saying. That's why she's upset. Because everything he did was above board and okay.
Worse than that, he says he does not know if Lucasfilm had a hand in the decision. He also tweeted that he had previously had support from Lucasfilm with regards to his social media presence and the way he dealt with harassment. I'm positive that's the way Kate pronounces harassment. And privately, this is the tweet from Wendig now. And privately, you know what? Why am I not sharing the screen?
I don't know. Mystery.
And there it is. Okay. And privately, I was told, we're right here, guys. I was told by folks inside Lucasfilm that there was no worry here, that they valued that I spoke out, both speaking up for myself and for Star Wars, which had always honestly been a progressive brand and company. Sure.
This is progressive. You mean making out with your sister? Then yeah.
Well, good call. Good call. They were very incest progressive. Is that a thing?
Don't make it a thing. No, that's weird and gross.
Here it is. This is complete and utter bullshit. There's the line, guys. It's this is not a situation like James Gunn or someone who pulled off a project because they spew bigotry and hate. This is a man fired for not taking bullshit from a horde of trolls who have been harassing him for years for political views, of them being prolapsed assholes, that helped shoot his books to the top of the bestseller list. Yeah, it wasn't the fact that they had the Star Wars title on the front and they were passable, right? It wasn't,
right?
He is literally being shut down for the fact he expressed his politics and people got mad at him for doing so. And then here's the quote that I put, or the tweet that I put up earlier. I know it hands Comicsgate a big win. Dude, if you were on the top of the best, let me tell everyone here, that doesn't know this. If Jim's still here, he's managed to put up with our BS until now. He knows this. You got the New York Times bestseller list, right? That means thousands of people have bought your books, okay? On the nonfiction series. What percentage of them have ever heard of or know what Comicsgate is?
Yeah, and how many of those people are even on Twitter?
There you go. Well said. Very, very few.
I don't think this is actually a Comicsgate issue. I think he did it to himself by making a lot of people mad because he said really rude things about whether they be Trump supporters or not. He was incredibly rude and divisive in his tweets, and that's just a bad look.
It's a bad look. That's 3 words. 4 if you cut out the contraction. But I mean, seriously, that sums up everything. Like, Wendig, why were you fired? It's a bad look. For who? For me? No, for the company that you're intimately associated with, dummy.
Yeah, like go to the next paragraph there. They're blaming this on Comicsgate, but it's not. They're saying it hands Comicsgate a big win. It doesn't. Well, in a way it does, but this is not a Comicsgate issue.
This is it kills me. It says the author Kate here starts off again. It does hand Comicsgate a big win. It hands people who want to see their media homogenized and reduced down to the same white cis het male stories a massive win. Worse, it sends a message that if you want to work for a big title, keep your mouth shut and don't talk about politics.
That's exactly what it says. Don't do that at work.
And okay, hold on. And even though at this point in the game, silence is nearly complicity. Okay, we need to break that apart. Hold on. We just and I'm not going to belabor this point. Those in chat that are like, I know I'm chasing away every new viewer that comes on. And Jim says New York Times bestseller list is a joke. Damn it!
You're not wrong,
Jim. You're too red pilled. I was on the Monkey stream the other day, and I called you the Xanax of Comicsgate because you calm everyone down when they rage. Like, you're too red pilled, buddy. Okay, this okay, I just want to go over this. It does hand Comicsgate a big win. Okay, look, only you, author here, Kate, and Chuck Wendig, and other people as zealous as you think so. This is okay. Ethan Van Sciver put up a video and he was like giggling about it. Yeah, because he needs video content and he's just doing a thing. Is it a big win for him? Is he going to sell more Cyberfrog because of it? Is this spreading the message of Comicsgate? It's not. I support Comicsgate in its simplest meaning. This is not a huge win. It's just a moment of, yeah, and when your censoriousness works for nobody, as I tweeted out, labeling people hateful terms like prolapsed assholes, for example, or Nazis or SJWs or whatever, it doesn't work for anybody. It's not good. And now it's not good for Chuck too.
Yeah.
That's all that's going on. If you want to say that we won, okay, I guess I'll be happy, smiley face, but like really, it's not a win because has it gotten rid of has it changed the direction of comics to be about story based instead of identity based? Not really.
It hasn't changed the culture. It just affects one person. And obviously, because he is somebody that has the same political view as them, somebody somewhere got upset, probably from Lucasfilm, that's overseeing all these materials. They stumbled on his Twitter and said, "Hey, we can't have this. This is not okay." I think it was he got fired because he writes the books, not because of the comics. And yeah, somebody at Marvel had to fire him, but I don't think it was necessarily somebody from within Marvel's call. I think that came from on high. They've had enough negative press about Star Wars in the last year. They don't really want any more.
And this is it shows, so like the two things that are said in this paragraph that I wanted to like parse out. Like the first part of it, I want to belabor it, but it's just like, man, this is in your guy's head. It really is. This is a small group of people that are actually thinking, oh my God, comicsgate is really, handed us a beating today. And I guess everyone takes a beating and this is our turn. Guys, no, not even close. You were fired because what you were doing was a bad look. That's all. It wasn't how does she say it here? White cishet male stories. Like the people that support those. Fuck off.
Yeah, I'm sorry. A lot of the Star Wars stuff is not about even humans, let alone white cishet males. Come on.
And then, so the second part of it, worse. This is even worse than the white cishet males winning, apparently. It sends a message that if you want to work for a big title, keep your mouth shut and don't even talk about politics, even though at this point in the game, silence is nearly complicity. In the game, by the way, what game are you referring to? You talk about modern politics in the era of Trump? Again, this is going on inside your head. The only game that's actually you're thinking of is on Twitter amongst people who care about these things, which aren't as many people as you think they are. And keep your mouth shut and don't talk about politics. Are you fucking kidding me? That's all you and your ilk do.
Yeah. I don't like to hear about people's politics or their sex lives. It's boring. No one wants to hear that. Maybe a couple of your suck up friends do, but nobody wants to hear that much of your politics. Nobody. It's boring. You're very narcissistic to think that.
Well, I don't know. Some people's sex lives I think I could stand listening to.
Oh my God.
Holy shit, Jack, you do a great quiz impersonation.
I know, right?
I think he was here.
Nice of you to join us.
Hey, man, I was here at the normal time. I waited around for a little bit, but I had a long day of work, man. I fell asleep.
Yeah, I accept full responsibility on Jack's behalf for him being late.
Whatever. I was sitting around at 10:30 going, wonder if we're going to do this or what.
Because you had totally forgotten that we were supposed to do it. That's okay. We accept your apology.
Yeah, blame me.
We're not the SJW types here. The Twitter hate mob we've been talking about up until now. We do accept apologies and won't make it worse.
Yeah, as soon as you issue one, I'll be glad to take it. How's that?
Excuse me.
So I see we're talking about Chuck Wendig here.
Go ahead.
I love that the everything about this. He's talking about it like it's everyone else's fault that he fucked himself. I mean,
yep.
It's
always somebody else's fault.
What did he think was going to happen?
Nothing.
Right?
He didn't think anything would happen.
I think that he honestly, is that an actual question? I thought that he would get away with it for a long time. I mean, are any of the people the usual suspects that we complain about? Do any of us think that they think their day is coming? I don't think they do.
No,
look at some of this. Look at some of the shit that they say. You're gonna, eat my ass because I've got a gun to your head. I mean, that was the thing that happened. Assholes were tweeted, gentlemen.
Wait! Eat my ass because I've got a gun to your what?
Yeah, remember that? That was
I remember Butthole Gate, but
no, was that Bendis?
That was an Anus Gate. Thank you.
Yeah, Anus Gate. No, that was you're gonna make me look this up. All right, talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna look it up.
All right, I'll continue on with the article while you're looking that up. All art is political, and apparently People being angry that politics in certain ways are progressive matters more than artists actually standing up for what's right. This is frightening. I won't call it censorship, but it's pretty close. It's a big message saying, keep your mouth shut and take the abuse, because apparently defending yourself and others around you is as bad as being a troll. It's, quote, vulgar. It's not, quote, civil. Marvel has known about Wendig's politics since 2015, and at the very earliest, but suddenly there's a problem with him being his usual self and using his platform for good. That's a stunning host of implications there. Wendig encouraged us to support the stories coming out of Marvel and Star Wars, despite all this, with more grace than I believe they currently deserve because of these chilling implications. Thankfully, most of the reactions I've seen in reaction to this have been as equally furious. The reaction was in there twice for some reason.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've noticed that before. This is
do you think that the Mary Sue has any sort of editorial?
No, they need Caitlin Booth as an editor-in-chief.
Well, they can't have her.
Right.
Because Bleeding Cool has her locked in.
That's right. They snatched her up, man. The hot property that she was. Okay, go. Sorry, go on.
Marvel, this isn't a good look. This is bullshit. Complete and utter bullshit. So maybe step back and reconsider this, because you're sending a massively dangerous message, not only to creators, but to the trolls who haunt them. Ooh, we're spooky trolls.
Ooh.
You are demanding silence and civility in the place of people expressing political views that piss off the trolls and incels. And for the record, if this happened to a white male author, imagine what it must be like for creatives who don't have the same privileges, who deal with even worse harassment. What a mess of a world we live in. And scene.
What? Okay, hold on. We're witnessing something live here. What was the line there specifically where it was talking about haunting?
So maybe take a step back and reconsider this, because you're sending a massively dangerous message, not only to creators, but to the trolls who haunt them.
Okay.
I see. They brought in the Halloween angle. That's clever.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm changing my Twitter profile to haunting troll.
Oh, nice.
See, everything related to asses in comicsgate is just giving me anusgate stuff.
Just butt everywhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of butt stuff in comics.
There's a lot of butt stuff.
I'm not wrong. I'm just an asshole.
Well,
see how easy that is.
Did you read? Were you here, Quiz, when we were talking about Rich Johnston talking about how he's looking forward to taking orders and daily reporting to the new editor-in-chief, Caitlin Booth? Sounds like there's some butt stuff going on there. Just saying.
A lot of crawling in, yeah.
Wow, I mean, just it's very, very beta-ish the way he was talking. It's like, I don't understand why you need to, like, what was that? To leave no doubt that okay, well, we've already been accused of meandering. I better stop that. I can't find it. I'll tweet it later. Look, one of the comic book artists for fucking Marvel said, if I had a gun, you guys would have to feast on my ass. That was the thing.
Oh, it was probably Max Bemis.
Yeah.
By the way, Kiwi Farms, who's nice to no one, except for Jim and Medicare, because reasons. Kiwi Farms, who just fucks with everybody. This is their description of comicsgate. This is great. Imagine being a multi-million-dollar company and getting so ass blasted because a group of autists on YouTube and Twitter don't like your current content that you have to take shots at them through your products.
True story.
Works for me.
Well, if they would produce apolitical content, or at least tone down the politics, they would sell a lot more books.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. Jim just confirmed in chat there that it was Bemis. Man, fuck that guy.
Oh yeah,
Fuck that guy with every.
And Bemis is doubling down in this tweet right here. Yeah, it's definitely Max Bemis. I forgot I offered some bigoted readers to feast on my ass. Like, I mean, imagine being an employed, salaried, or at least contracted professional creator, and just saying like, "Oh, all you guys feast on my ass," and like, Jesus, like that was proto anus gate right there, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are longshoremen that can't get away with talking like that. I mean, how many industries can you work in where you could tell your customer base or the customers of your customers to lick your butt? That's weird.
Yeah, especially at gunpoint. Let's go back to so we dealt with the Mary Sue, and they're angry for, you know, white cishet male reasons.
Damn privilege.
You know, Mary Sue can get fucked, man. Everything they say is absolutely worthless. So
now, if the Mary Sue got fucked, not only would they not be as angry, their cats would be very upset because it would delay their feeding time.
Going over to Bleeding Cool, not by Rich Johnston, but by Jude Terror here. This one, it kind of echoes all of the same talking points, which makes me think, you know, yet again, as people have pointed out, they're all part of different journalists, and this is not a surprising thing. This is not controversial in any kind of way or even contested. Different journalists of different stripes and different genres are friends on different Facebook groups and private chat messages. They talk because they're in the same profession together. It's not weird, and they supply each other with talking points. This is how a whole bunch of articles on the exact same topic seem to all come out at the exact same time. It's not accidental, and it's not conspiratorial. It's just what's going on behind the scenes. It's nothing.
So they have some sort of like journo list.
They do have a journo list. That's true. Bad humor. Okay, so
good isn't in the title of the name on my channel, so.
You do see the same talking points going across multiple articles, across multiple websites. And Bleeding Cool reads the same way. Headline, Chuck Wendig says he was fired from Marvel Star Wars for politics. Chuck Wendig was set to launch the new Marvel series comic Shadow of Darth Vader in February, but it looks like he's already been taken off the book before his first issue hits stands. According to Wendig, because he's the only source anyone should trust on this, he's been removed from Shadow of Vader as of issue number 4, and also another Star Wars book that hadn't been announced yet. According to Wendig, the reason for his given for his removal is, quote, because of the negativity and vulgarity that my tweets bring. Seriously, that's what Mark Pancia, the editor, said. It was too much politics, too much vulgarity, too much negativity on my part. That's shocking from you, Mr. Calling everybody who didn't agree with you politically around the Kavanaugh hearing a prolapsed asshole.
Spoken like an angry prolapsed asshole.
What is it with these people in butts?
Yeah, again, there's a lot of butt stuff. Jack's not wrong.
It's the unspoken story of comicsgate is all the butt stuff involved.
I feel the need to repeat again. Sorry for yous that were here earlier as I said it. Winter is coming. You callous fucknecks, you prolapsed assholes, you grotesque monsters, you racists and rapists and wretched abusers, you vengeful petty horrors. The guy said too much politics. Like, there's politics here? What are you talking about?
No, I just see somebody that really has a problem with illegal immigration.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Well, this is why I'm aiming for Streamlabs and have no hope whatsoever for monetization.
I love that Chuck Wendig is calling someone else petty.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Pot, meat, fucking kettle.
Yeah,
right?
And for those of you wondering what in the ever-loving fuck he's talking about, this is following Kavanaugh being confirmed. So who is this particularly aimed at? Yeah, well, monsters, assholes, racists, rapists, abusers, and horrors is who it's aimed at. And fucknecks. I forgot.
I'm just really shocked that nobody... Yeah, I'm appalled that nobody nicknamed him Cuck Wendigo. I am horrified by that. Like, that is the easiest name insult. And nobody did that.
I kind of want to see someone Photoshop his soy face there onto Wendigo from Marvel now.
Yes, exactly.
What?
Like, I came up with that 2 seconds into seeing the guy. And oh my gosh, it's I mean, granted, they can't meme, but come on, guys, we could do better than this.
Let's just, and again, this is about you, Chuck. Like, comics gators were trying to bring you down. Well, there's lots of assholes online, but this is remember the poly program for a healthy life? Like, as stupid and simplistic as it is, like, dude, get off Twitter every once in a while. You're starting to, like, Twitter is not the real world. And
it's like, unhealthy.
Yeah, and you're talking about it like, they brought me down, man. No, somebody at fucking Marvel or at Disney saw and scrolled through your tweets and went, oh my God, somebody who doesn't live in the Twitterverse all the time. And this is what happens if someone else like myself comes along and sees this? What happens if my boss comes along and sees this? I've got to do something about this. That strikes me as infinitely more reasonable than a bunch of Russian bots and comics gators brought you down.
Russian bots. When in doubt, blame Russian bots.
I think Russian robots are getting a really bad rap. It's really unfair to them. I think they did
bring down Star Wars.
It brought down Hillary Clinton.
So I mean, let's not act like they don't have power to sway. But let's talk about Entertainment Weekly, which is supposed to be. This is going to round off. See what I did there, Ryan Johnson. I went right. Okay, the end of our Chuck Wendig coverage here. The reason why I bring this article up is because this speaks mostly to the idea of activating media assets in terms of being parts of groups of like-minded individuals. Yes, they follow each other on Twitter, but more than that, on Facebook groups that are not open to the public and on listservs. Those still exist. Absolutely, they do. People run these things all the time. This is how you get stories. If you're a journalist, you're about your information. You're about your main takeaway talking points. This is how you write articles, and you fraternize with a whole bunch of other journalists. And of course, as human nature dictates, you end up writing articles similarly. Chuck Wendig got pissed off and went and talked to media people that he knows and said, can you fucking believe I got fired for this? And was ranting on Twitter. And then people were DMing him saying, holy fuck, Chuck, you got fucking fired. Yeah, man. And people started writing articles all over the place. That's how the Mary Sue covering it, and Bleeding Cool covering it with original comments and Chuck's own opinion on it. And then here we are all the way up to Entertainment Weekly, which is not a great, it's not variety level, but it's getting up there. But still, the same talking points are here. Chuck Wendig, author of best-selling Star Wars Aftermath novels, says that Marvel Comics has fired him from their Shadow of Vader series over his political outspokenness. Listen to the mild and clever use of propaganda and word choice here. This is actually really well done. The writer posted on Twitter on Friday to say he was removed from the 5-volume series with 2 issues unfinished, and that as yet other unannounced project. Today I got the call. I'm fired because of negativity and vulgarity that my tweets bring. Seriously, that's what Mark, the editor, said. It was too much politics, too much vulgarity, too much negativity on my part. Here's where the fun starts in this article. Wendig said he believed the decision rested solely with Marvel Comics and not with Lucasfilm's publishing division. He does not currently have any novels or projects in the work with that department. Marvel Comics did not immediately respond to Entertainment Weekly's request for comment. Wendig told EW, see? Original content, original interviews, original discussion. This is it happened behind the scenes before it happened for us to read, if you see what I'm saying. Like, my point being, be critical when you read this stuff. This is not Entertainment Weekly spotting a story and then getting involved with it. This is them reading on their listservs and their private groups that this is the story of the moment and accessing it. This is activation of media sources. Wendig told Entertainment Weekly he thinks the decision to fire him over his political tweets will have wider implications for writers and artists in general. Quote, "It will be chilling," he said. "It'll make creators with smaller voices than mine be afraid to speak out." Oh, yeah. Because Twitter's so unassuming and mild in its opinionated opining, huh?
Yeah. Maybe they'll teach people not to be complete douchebags on their Twitter to potential customers.
because it's not like virtue signaling, to overuse that phrase, does get you in with certain groups. Ain't no one going to be afraid, Chuck. They're just not going to call people prolapsed assholes as often as you did. They're afraid to speak out. You mean afraid to call people fucknecks? Is that what he said? Fellow writers defended Wendig after news broke of his firing. Among them, novelist and comic scribe Joe Hill, who compared it to Disney firing James Gunn. After far-right trolls resurfaced a series of the filmmaker's decade-old vulgar jokes. See the massaging, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Marvel and Walt Disney Company, you want to work with creators who have vision and imagination? Better accept that they might also express themselves politically or impolitically. When the trolls persuade you to fire a James Gunn and a Chuck...
What? Wait, whoa. Impolitically.
That's right. I am politically. That's right.
Is that...
I don't think so.
I guess it is a word. It seems... I don't know, it just seemed wrong somehow, but okay.
Well, this whole thing is wrong to begin with, so...
Were you running off of politically incorrect, and you kind of... Because if you think about it, it's not impolite, it's impolite.
Well, my problem with it is that they're okay with him spouting off his politics, but imagine that they had an alt-writer on there doing that. That'd be the equally bad look.
Yeah.
But they would have a problem with that, but not this guy, because they agree with him.
When the trolls persuade, this is still Joe Hills talking here. When the trolls persuade you to fire a James Gunn or a Chuck Wendig, they lose, and you lose your audience.
I've read Chuck Wendig's work. We lost when we were reading it. So
I find it really frustrating because here's another person that's like, the only thing you didn't include in there was the Russian bots, right? Like the trolls persuaded you. Again, I find it infinitely more reasonable. Well, significantly more reasonable that somebody at Disney, somebody in their PR department read this and was like, Jesus Christ, sweet tap dancing Christ. Look what this guy writes all the time. Is this guy really important? Do we have any other authors in the wings? And it's like, yeah, hundreds. Do we really need this guy? Is he crucial? They were willing to fire James Gunn. Like, you think they're not willing to fire you, fucker? I mean, it's a bad look. That's all. Quit conspiratorializing it. Whatever. Now, back to, I love this. Again, the massaging continues, right? Wendig became a target of the trolls after a furious tweet about Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation of the Supreme Court and the attention of right-wing pundits, drawing an avalanche of equally rancorous replies from their followers. Dude.
Way to dress it up.
The tweet that I've been repeating over and over again. A furious tweet about Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation of the Supreme Court. He didn't say anything about Brett Kavanaugh. You wouldn't have even known. It was just a series of cusses.
And a really annoying Game of Thrones reference. Stop. Read other books.
But
whoa. You think he reads the book? I guarantee you they just watch the show.
Watch other TV shows.
You guys have a fun part coming in this Entertainment Weekly thing. Get ready. Buckle up.
Fun is an overstated word.
And by fun, I mean like shaking amounts of triggering. So, strap in, boys. I love it. They give him credit here, though, in this EW article. They say he saw it coming and then quote it. Oh, good. I'm not sure this won't be annoying at all. Then why did you tweet it, fucker?
I'm visibly shook.
Yeah, okay. One of Wendig's landmark contributions to the Star Wars canon was the introduction of Aftermath, first openly gay hero, an Imperial defector, et cetera, right? And Dellen Morris, a lesbian Imperial officer. Now, why was that paragraph talking about his contributions to Star Wars, LGBTQ, rah, right? Like, okay, that came after his tweet about the Supreme Court, and it goes into this paragraph now. This is what we call like conditioning. In psychology, it's referred to as conditioning. Getting somebody ready for something by referencing something else. If you click on this guy's tweet and you read about prolapsed assholes, remember he's pro-LGBT. It conditions you to be more accepting of the next thing. See?
Put the lotion on.
Yes, it's putting on the lotion. Yes, the abrasion won't be quite so harsh that way. His firing is the second removal of an outspoken freelance writer by Marvel Comics. Chelsea Kane, whose female-friendly first Marvel superhero comic Mockingbird inspired a social media harassment campaign after it was canceled.
7 tweets! 7! That's exactly how many responses she got.
That's a hate fact. Hate fact.
It was female friendly because of what?
Feminist agenda.
Ask me about my feminist agenda.
She only got 7 responses. That's not a campaign. That's mild annoyance.
So to not belabor this point, even though I've totally been doing so and lied about that, the author, because I'm like, oh, this is one of their brethren. This has got to be, because it's way too friendly to a particular side, and you got original content commentary from Chuck Wendig. Right. So who is the author? Well, he's Anthony Brezikin. Sorry if I butchered his name there, but he's a blue check mark. And I encourage you to go look at Anthony Brezikin's
shocked by imagine.
Let's just because I scrolled through his Twitter, because you can get a sense of like what somebody spends their time tweeting about. So of course he's right on top of Trump talking about Robert E. Lee as a great general. I'm just going to put this out there. Lincoln didn't have to replace his generals as often as he did, and going through the same guy in the form of McClellan twice, because Robert E. Lee was getting his ass kicked. I don't think that Donald Trump, at least I wouldn't immediately guess that he was referring to his position. There's a reason that Lincoln offered command of the Union Army to Robert E. Lee first. It wasn't because he was a shitty general.
Yeah.
If you read through Twitter, people are freaking out over it, saying he was a bitch and a pussy and he got his ass kicked. And I'm not kidding. Like,
no, he almost won.
No, he wasn't. Yeah, he almost won with inferior forces. He was outmanned, outgunned, and out-equipped, and he out-generaled the North until they got Grant in there, who just, through dogged strategy, was able to beat him. Anyway, the point is,
also like, the other person that needs to take credit for a lot of the North's eventual victory in the Civil War would be Sherman. Sherman's March to the Sea completely destroyed their infrastructure.
The South had most of the good generals, but they lacked the ability to move them around. Mm-hmm. They had almost no railroad, and that really hurt them.
And Sherman destroying the railroads all the way to Atlanta didn't help them with the few that they had, right? That was my point was, I think he was making a leadership comment, not a fighting on behalf of slavery comment, because
no, it had something to do with that.
Lee actually thought slavery was an abomination. So why did he fight for it? Because you invaded the South and you fight for your country, which he viewed as Virginia. And we've done enough history, and I'm meandering like crazy. But of course, this guy by the name of Anthony Brezikin has got a tweet about "fuck you, Trump." Here's his thing about his authorship of this article in Entertainment Weekly, and we go down, and it's like, okay, Devin Nunes. Happy 93rd birthday to my favorite Halloween storybook, The Pumpkin Smasher. Oh, something not related to anything political. Hillary Clinton. Oh, Jesus. AJ Plus. Not like they're completely supported by the Qatari royal family. It's great. Just as you scroll down, take my word for it. Double check it. Everything is just politics, and fuck Trump endlessly. And this is the guy you went to, who happens to have an association with Entertainment Weekly, so you could get your article out there. Like I said, guys, if you're not already hypercritical of what you're reading, be more so. All of the journalists all know each other behind the scenes, and they're all trading talking points. Look at who this guy is and what he personally tweets out from his personal account all day. And then when he writes an article that's like this, about alt-right trolls, female friendly, was it female friendly, or was it just extremely pro-feminist? Oh, right, there is no difference.
Same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the invasion of politics into things. When we say we don't want politics in our comics, we're not talking about general, we're talking about this. Anyways.
Well,
now that I've chased away many viewers, I'm sure
the major
stop.
rub of it isn't the fact that it's politics, right? It's the denouncement of the ability to talk about it civilly or even have political disagreements.
Nope. Civility is white supremacy. I learned that this week.
Well, yeah, that's yeah. It's the attempt to make a single view hegemonic and to demonize the other view. That's, I think, the problem with the specific bit talking about politics and comics. Because I mean, I being a filthy liberal, I don't care.
Get out.
I don't care when people make partisan stuff. I've read Hawkman. Hawkman's great, which is the exact opposite of Green Arrow. It doesn't matter about the specific politics within the book, so long as you're not demonizing your opposition.
What? Get your damn Pokemons out of my chat. What's going on? Are you guys talking about Pokemon?
No, I made a joke because he asked Blazekin, and I said I think that's a Pokemon otherkin that smokes a lot of weed. Turns out Blazekin is an actual Pokemon. I didn't know that.
I'm just kidding.
That was my fault.
Pokemon fans are welcome here.
But none of you freak Digimon people.
So there's just fuck you in all caps. It's like I said you're welcome. The Pokemon. Let me see.
Give me a link, you fuck.
Oh, quiz. I don't know. I don't think you were here for this earlier. So let's. Look upon that face.
Yeah.
I just still had this tab open. That's the new editor-in-chief at Bleeding Cool.
That is not Rich Johnston in a wig.
That intense glare is the.
Yeah, we called it the glare of judgment, and it was who coined it? Daddy Issues eyeliner. Who was that?
Oh, that was Peter, I think.
Was that Peter? Well done, Peter. That was pretty good. I like that.
It's like looking at the eye of Sauron.
No, it's the look of a librarian who doesn't like whatever you're doing that is mildly annoying.
Yeah, it's a good call.
Like your shoe has a stone in it and you moved your foot on the floor and it made a noise and she gives you that look. That's the look.
I guess we could do 6 feminist horror movies to watch, but I'm like feminist out, guys. Why don't we pitch comics and
okay. we still got all of October to talk about.
Yeah, I was just about to say there's plenty of time.
We didn't talk about Iron Fist.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, shoot. By all means, go ahead.
Yeah, Ray's gonna take a bite of cheese. All right. So the news came out today.
Polly, did you intend to do your title backwards?
Oh, what? Like the label?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still
playing around with it.
Yeah, I'm still weighing the option there.
Okay.
Well, let's put the behind the scenes discussion live, man. Shit.
Anyway,
we got to be like these shill journalists, and we talk about this stuff behind the scenes.
Oh, why are Daddy and Daddy fighting?
Well, in case you guys are wondering what we're talking about, like what is more searchable? Like what gets you to people's videos quicker? And is it to put the subject first and then the series, like in this case, comic book curation, second in the title? Because believe it or not, the algorithms are bizarre and pay attention to details like this. You actually notice it. So we're talking about which one should we put first, but I haven't decided whether that's good or not. I need to go look at some other OES stuff and see what people have done. We're trying to get people to be able to find us. That's all this comes down to.
Yes.
So Netflix announced today that they're canceling Iron Fist. The character apparently is going to live on as guest appearances or something, but they did come out and say officially that it's canceled. I verified this by looking around at different articles, But Polygon had the longest article on it that I was willing to read. And it's a little disappointing. I thought season 2 was a lot better than season 1. Mostly because he got a haircut and got rid of whatever this mess on his head is.
I was gonna say, where's his bandana half mask?
I don't know. That was nice. They were adding that, and it was nice to see Colleen Wing really develop as the Iron. Oh wait, she's not the main character, is she? Oh shit. Maybe I misunderstood the show. But season 1 was all about Colleen Wing adopting this homeless guy and cleaning him up and going on some mild adventure. Season 2 was definitely better. I thought, I know Scribe disagrees with me over on Lords of the Night, but apparently Disney is not putting up with any more shenanigans, and I guess the viewership was too low.
I saw a little bit in that punching Frank Castle. Why do people not like the Punisher?
Anti-Semitism?
What, Frank Castle's supposed to be Jewish?
No, but the actor is.
Oh.
Bernthal? Really? It's pretty Jewish.
Yeah.
Hey, you keep your anti-Semitic assumptions off this channel, buddy.
No, I'm pretty sure he's Jewish. I got no issue with that.
I know. I just had nothing to contribute, so I thought I'd virtue signal.
If he was Jewish, though, he should totally use a yarmulke as a throwing star.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be like Odd Job in James Bond. He's got his throwy razor hat, and he could have his...
I brought this up the other day. Was his hat actually razor? I thought it was just weighted, and he broke people's necks with it.
No, because he cut a statue's head off.
Yeah, we had this discussion on a Minions stream one night. I'm pretty sure, or in Discord or something like that, where it's like, yeah, like he threw it at a marble statue, and it wasn't clear. Did it cut it off, or did it just break it off because it was real heavy?
Well, I would think that it would have shattered it if it was weighted, not cut a clean cut to decapitate it.
Well, it wasn't a clean cut; it was jagged. And
was it?
When people were, the scene that he used it on someone, I thought it just broke their neck. Not I don't know. I might be misremembering that. It's been a good.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while. You might be right.
What is that? That's Man with the Golden Gun, right?
I think so.
See, that looks like a clean cut to me.
Oh, okay.
God
yeah,
damn it.
I guess.
Stupid water fox.
But I don't know if maybe they intended it to be like a bludgeoning thing. I don't know. James Bond is so convoluted anyway that it could have been either or both, maybe. It's hard to say.
Do you know what's not convoluted about James Bond, though? That he's Scottish.
Yeah.
Black Scottish? Like a Moor? Moorish?
But the Moors of Scotland are not the same as the Moors of Spain, my friend.
I was going to say.
You have no evidence of this. I am writing a stern letter.
Those Moors were Spanish.
Oh my God, that was priceless.
The freemen on the land disagree with you because there's Moorish American. I watched Hidden Colors, thank you.
Oh my God, you've watched Hidden Colors? You know about the more? We've got so much to talk about. There's a lot.
I've seen all 4 of them. Yeah.
Oh, there's some great lulls to be had.
That's where I got the joke from.
Well, just
said the Moors.
Noble Drew Ali and his whole thing with the Moor Science Temple. Like that's something I wanted to talk to. Weebo about.
I was on Johnny Hellcat's stream last night talking about how I knew this dude a long time ago that thought Indians were from India, not tribes Indians that are native to America. He thought those were other people that just kind of showed up.
Jack, I gotta stop you. Somebody in chat's right. Shady says so. Comics. Jesus Christ.
Well,
someone actually literally thought that Native American Indians were from India.
Stop,
Yes.
guys. We've been called out. We need it's okay. It's 3 a.m.
He was
That's
20.
fine, but we've been called out. We need to get back to the subject at hand. Okay.
Oh, it's okay when you go on a tangent. Just because my rabbit holes are more fun. There are no white people in Scotland.
Oh, fuck. And apparently Jack's been presenting for the past I don't know how long. Fuck, professional to the end, boys.
Woo!
Okay. All right. Well, fuck it. I typed this out for chat. So let's I might as well press send. Okay. We've never actually asked chat questions if they had questions, but that's mostly because there's only been like 3 people here. But now we're all the way up to 15 viewers, which is like fucking awesome. You guys rock. Like seriously, 1, thanks for showing up and thanks for listening. I'm glad you're enjoying it. 2, if you are in fact actually enjoying it, feel free to press that like button. It really does help. And if you're feeling particularly generous, you can subscribe and make sure to hit that notification button, because notifications don't mean shit on YouTube if you don't. And then finally, if you're feeling super generous, you can go ahead and send this out on Twitter, which would be really appreciated.
Or give me money.
Yeah. So while we're getting ready to pitch our comics here, which is probably going to be pretty short, why don't we keep this one short as fuck, guys? Because hopefully our chat will have questions for us.
Yes.
How many can you fit?
Comics? Quite a bit in a long box.
Yeah. What is how many comics are you supposed to be able to fit in a long box? I've never even stopped to think about that.
Bagged is 300, bagged and boarded is about 150.
Holy fuck, we just got nerd pwned, man.
Yeah.
That was pretty intense.
That's
It really depends on the company that made the long box, because there are slightly different sizes.
Sure.
Yeah.
I still regret going with the long boxes, guys. I wish I had gone with the short boxes years ago.
Yeah.
Just movability and stuff, because like, you know, like you can't like, yeah, you're going to fit like large parts of a run, or perhaps even a whole run inside of a box, but you can do like part 1, part 2, part 3. Short boxes are the way to go, guys.
They're way easier to store and move.
Yeah. And long boxes, when you're moving, Jack, you must have encountered this, like the paper weight will burst out the side of the box quite easily. Like
it's heavy as shit, because I moved when I moved to Columbus, it took me 5 trips in a minivan just to move my comic books. 5 trips across the state, and it was horrible.
Yeah, and as soon as you pack a long box or a short box from back to front, you can't get your hand in under the handles anymore. As soon as you packed them tight, you can only get just the tips of your fingers in, and it's picking up a heavy long box with that shit going on.
You get a plastic indexer. They make those, and you slide one in the front, makes it easier to get your hand in the handle.
Oh yeah, good thinking.
I moved a few thousand of these things over the years, so you better learn a trick or 2, or you are really in trouble.
See, Shady went from not talking about comics to deep inside baseball comics nerdery. There, in your face.
And he says, "Whoosh" is the sound of you missing the dirty joke.
No, we got it.
No, we got the dirty joke. I was just steering it towards comics.
I'm going to keep track of all these questions, so keep asking them. We are not going to ignore them. Who wants to? I've got a fast pitch, guys, because I'm taking a break from Miller Month for today and today only.
Sure.
I am.
It's not just because you don't have enough material for Frank Miller, but
the man's been working for decades. I have plenty of material. You son of a bitch. I'm actually just taking a break because I got into a conversation with somebody.
Strike one.
They brought up something that kind of pissed me off, and so I was like, "But you've never read?" And then, so anyway, we'll get onto that in a second. So I believe it was Jack that was forced to go first last time through being volunteered. So Quiz, you're volunteered. What do you got for us, buddy?
All right. The pitch I've got today is written by Alan Brennert, artist Norm Breyfogle, colorist Lovern Kidzierski, something. Letterer Bill Oakley, and special thanks to Kevin Breyfogle. Mine is the actual Batman Holy Terror.
You motherfucker.
I brought it up several times earlier in the stream. I think it was when Polly pitched Frank Miller's Holy Terror.
Make no mistake about it, chat. This is a pitch of spite. There's nothing wrong with this comic, but the fact that Quiz is pitching it, it's a pitch of spite.
Well, sorry, no, it's the fact that I just read it.
Christ, he's spite reading now, guys.
No, I got this comic in when I was at what I always keep saying at the end of the show, small conventions. I went to a small convention up here in Chicago in Lake County, and it's like one of these places where they rented out a hall that was the size of like a swap meet, sort of thing. But they had, all sorts of comic vendors and video game vendors and old toys and stuff like that. That's what the comic or the convention is really all about. But they had a huge section for comics, and this one guy was selling a whole bunch of the Batman prestige format graphic novels in a bundle, just a huge group of them. Nice. And I got one of them in there was Holy Terror, Batman Holy Terror. And
nice. Good score, actually. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was great. But I was looking through it. I'm like, this seems interesting, but I'd never gotten around to reading it. Well, I read it yesterday, and I don't know how I didn't want to read this before, because it's awesome. Essentially, it's part of the Elseworlds. You can see right down here on the little tag right here. This is something a DC used to do, where they would take established characters and make what are called Elseworlds, where it's a reimagining of the character if something had changed. As you can tell with my gushing about something like Injustice, I really dig that shit. So Elseworlds were a kind of thing that I guess I missed back in the 80s and 90s, but they're great. This one in particular centers around the idea that Oliver Cromwell united the Union under America lost the Revolutionary War and remained part of the British Commonwealth. And in so being that, it became a puritanical, theocratic autocracy. And because of that, a lot of the sort of things within the context of the story have religious overtones. Like when Bruce Wayne's parents are killed, he, instead of taking over a business and remaining a businessman sort of thing, right, and becoming the billionaire playboy, he renounces all of his wealth. He sends Alfred away, sells the mansion, and gives all of his money to the church and becomes a priest.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a whole
wait.
So he's retarded.
Batman's an atheist, though. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Another thing too is that the police aren't police in this universe. James Gordon is. Let me find the little bit here. We got. Yeah. I am Jim Gordon. I am an Inquisitor. So yeah, there's a lot of the sort of religious overtones within Holy Terror, and I thought it was great. I don't want to give too much away, but they do bring other DC characters into it, like the very first mention is Oliver Queen was hanged because of liberal sedition. There was things like Carter and Shaira, Hawkman and Hawkwoman, for a Hawk Girl, for those that not in the know, are killed because of their attempts to push a different sort of ideology with them being Egyptian, I think.
They'll be back.
Yeah, that's fine. Like Our Man is another character that dies. Later on, when Batman is trying to find the mysterious cabal that conspired to kill his parents, he finds this whole metahuman wing under a cathedral where they're experimenting with metahumans to make them into the ultimate crusaders. And one of the people that he finds there is Barry Allen.
All right. What?
Yeah, and the mysterious Green Man, which was Superman. But the reason why they call him the Green Man is because they keep him under constant glow under kryptonite to weaken him.
Well, in fear of extending your quick pitch, can you flip through it just so we could see the art and you can tantalize, like, of course, stop short of copyright striking us.
Yeah, the whole. Another thing I really kind of dig is that it's got this sort of it retains the whole Gothic architecture of Gotham that they always like to do, but it's like looking out over the skyline of London, where you can see the massive spires of the cathedrals. But this is supposed to be America, And another thing too is that with the look of this, you would think that it's circa the 1900s, but this is actually modern times. Like you've got here in the next couple of panels, he's looking on. He's watching TV. This is Vicky Vale,
right?
That
is a very unattractive Vicky Vale post 1989. Kim Basinger. Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, like the art in it is great. I dug this, and I really like the sort of aesthetic that they had going on. Like the major reason why this cabal conspired to kill Thomas and Martha is because this right here, when Bruce goes and discovers his father's journal, talking about how there was homosexual reconditioning therapy where they would shock the genitals of gay men, and then
talk about shock the monkey. Jeez.
Yeah.
And then Vice President Pence. Come on, everyone thought about it. It wasn't just me.
Yeah, there's
Shady is saying no spoilers. Yeah, I mean I am going to
don't
call
ruin
that
it
as a very successful pitch quiz. I thought I had read this, but in you describing it, I don't even know if I own a copy, and I've already opened a tab to go purchase it legally. So, but it looks so good. I want a glossy physical copy.
Yeah, I've got my glossy physical copy sitting right over here on my nightstand. It's fucking great. It's
successful pitch for sure. I definitely want to read that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll go next and show Quiz how a quick pitch works.
Well, I didn't say quick pitch. You were the one that said quick pitch.
You said it. I didn't agree. Fuck off. My pitch is Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme #1. I know, weird, right? But this is why. I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and he said, Doctor Strange has never been treated right in the Marvel Universe. Doctor Strange has always been stupid. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Didn't you read Sorcerer Supreme? It was an ongoing series. And as you can see in the top corner, it says first issue. New format, more pages, fewer ads. And that was back in the day. It is a fantastic story of, if you're into the magic stuff, but not like, Harry Potter magic. No offense to anyone who liked Harry Potter. It's just not the abracadabra, Willakazam type magic with wands and stuff. This is like very, I don't know, what would you call it? Different. And it's great comic. You have the Dread Dormammu, who obviously returns here. Spoilers right on the cover, right? But the story is fascinating. You get it is the best introduction that of all of these Doctor Stranges that I've read throughout Marvel Comics, where you don't need to know his history because it explains it all quite well in the #1 issue, as they should. Hold on. Get off the screen. There you go. Richard Case is the penciler here, and he just fantastic. This is so 90s. It just screams I am from the 90s. Great stuff. This is all a flashback of where what led up to the first story, how Doctor Strange found himself in a deep battle and seemingly dead, and everybody shocked that he's dead. Obviously he's not, otherwise there wouldn't be any issue to be had. And that's where the story starts. It's fan-fucking-tastic, the battle that he takes on with the Dread Dormammu, who he thought he had destroyed in their final fatalistic battle, but through various means and various very comic booky interdimensional storylines, he's not actually dead. Again, no spoilers because he's on the cover, so you know that he is. And this is them battling it out. Doctor Strange is actually a lot of fun, and the magic as it works in the Marvel universe is also a lot of fun, and it works fairly consistently throughout this series. Sorcerer Supreme, I'm not sure if Sorcerer Supreme has ever been collected, has ever been brought together in a collected edition, but this is exactly the kind of thing to buy as used, because it's going to be cheap as fuck. It's a fantastic fun read. And you know what, screw it, I'm going to spoil the last page for you guys, because you know what's going to happen.
People are going to look for it.
Okay.
No, don't do that. Don't be that guy. You guys want to know the kicker at the end of the movie, at the post credits? I'll tell you. No, don't be that guy.
Kaiser Soze was actually a molester of teenage children. Okay, we will. Did anyone get that joke?
Catholic? Yeah.
No, Kaiser Soze wasn't Catholic.
You don't know that. If
he was Kevin Spacey.
Kids, he was.
Kevin Spacey didn't need to be Catholic to be a freakoid. You think about it.
I just assume if they diddling kids or Catholics.
You just assumed that?
Saves time.
Yeah. So when teachers in public schools who aren't Catholic are diddling kids, you don't care? Is that what I'm here to understand?
I don't remember saying that.
All right, Jack, you're up.
I pose as a high school student quite frequently, and they've yet to touch me. My comic is Deathstroke, issues 31 through 35. This is Deathstroke versus Batman. Now, Batman was working on a case of a bank robbery, and Commissioner Gordon found this envelope labeled for Batman, and it's got these DNA results in it. And they say that Damian Wayne is, in fact, Slade Wilson's kid. So Batman's trying to find out what's going on, and Slade's being a jerk. So, of course, shenanigans ensue. And they come to blows several times. So Batman starts interfering with Slade's contracts until he gets a straight answer. Damian tags along with Deathstroke on a mission, and it results in a big showdown in the Batcave while the feds are raiding Wayne Enterprises. So one of Wade's plans is to disrupt Batman's money flow, because not going to spoil anything, but he does not know that Bruce Wayne is Batman. There's a separate connection there. So while the feds are upstairs raiding Wayne Manor, they're down in the Batcave beating the crap out of each other. And there's some great art. This is written by Christopher Priest. So Priest is becoming one of my favorite writers currently, because every time I read his stuff, it gets better and better. And there's some really great interactions here with Batman and Deathstroke and their acquaintances. Like, there's this guy Wintergreen that works for Deathstroke that is friends with Alfred, because they kind of have the same job.
I say Wintergreen is an old character within Deathstroke's sort of backstory.
Yeah. So, and Deathstroke is like a super soldier type character, so he's sort of like a Captain America type, but a little more amoral. And there's just some really solid art in here. It's a really fun story that really needed to be read. I mean, I had a great time reading it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I really dig the villain books.
Art that looks incredible in and of itself. I mean, holy shit.
I really dig the villain books at DC, and Deathstroke has been one that's been on my radar, but I've not actually read any of them yet. I really kind of want to get into it, though.
Yeah, it's a good time to do it. Issue 36 just started a new storyline where he's in Arkham Asylum.
Sweet.
And it was a really solid issue. So if you're looking to get into it, I would pick up the trade of this if you get a chance and read that, or the individual issues. It's not a real popular title, so
really,
yeah, I'm kind of surprised by that because I didn't even know Priest was on the book until I was like, oh, Deathstroke versus Batman. Well, who's the sucker they got for that one? Oh, Priest is doing it. Cool. So I picked it up, and I added Deathstroke to my pull list.
Cool.
Yeah, okay, that's good. I got hate camel there saying, oh, so this is a short pitch. Okay, look, you know what? I'm going to give you a bonus pitch. This and watch this is how you fast pitch a wicked comic. You ready? Shadow Masters, 4-issue limited series. It's awesome. Post World War II Japan. They're imperialists. They want to reestablish these military fanatics, Imperial Japan. And they cross paths with a ninja who refuses to let that happen because he knows what feudal Japan was like and it was brutal. So he starts killing up on them. It's full of intrigue, interest, and ninjas. How can you go wrong? Read it. It's awesome.
That is not how you fast pitch. This is how you fast pitch.
Oh, okay.
Right. Deathstroke, issue 36. Buy it.
That didn't make me want to buy it. Again,
I just told you. Deathstroke, issue 36. Buy it.
Seeing Deathstroke in a straitjacket in Arkham Asylum, that's kind of an effective pitch for me.
See? I win again.
Did you ever read Shadow Masters?
No.
Anyone?
No.
Jack, did you read it?
I don't think I read that one. No. It sounds familiar, but I don't think I read it.
It's great. Okay, so now that we've done our pitches, let's see if let's just run back here to the questions that people asked.
I think they forgot about questions like half an hour ago.
No, that's fine. It's because we all fucked up on the short pitches.
We lost 4 viewers pitching comics.
Well, it is getting on.
That's no excuse.
I know.
The Australian contingent are still with us.
Well,
Shady's here.
Peter wants to know if we ever read DuckTales, the comics.
No.
Yes, I read the Gladstone books. I've read pretty much everything I could get my hands on. I read the Gladstone ones. I read the Disney Comics ones. And I actually like a lot of those like kid comics. I think they're pretty fun. There's just a nice mind-numbing read.
I read the Looney Tunes comics. I did not, and I have a whole bunch of them. I've got a half a short box. It's nothing but Looney Tunes comics. But I never read the Disney ones. I was more of a Bugs Bunny guy than anything. So
yeah. I had a couple of the Looney Tunes ones. I also had the Animaniacs ones. Those were about as far into the sort of traditional animation cartoons in comics that I actually dipped my toe into out of the Marvel DC sort of universe back when I was a kid.
Fair enough.
We had our newsstand, which was a drugstore effectively with a big news section. They had all the Gladstone titles. So if you wanted comic books, they were probably about a third of your selection. So I read a lot of Donald Duck and Uncle Scrooge and DuckTales. So yeah, I've read them. I liked them, but you know, I'm not the target demographic. So.
Peter brings up a complex question. Hopefully we can actually talk about, I mean, it's such a good question because there's a whole issue. We'll probably touch back on it again as more fallout happens because everyone's touching on it because Medicare got involved. So every 14-year-old who plays Call of Duty is involved. He asks, what do you think of Sargon's idea to bring back comicsgate, which he included, well, bring back Gamergate, but definitely include comicsgate in it as a contingent of like as an aspect of that. Yeah. Guys, do you know anything about that?
I don't know. This is the first I'm hearing about it, and I don't really give a shit. If Sargon wants to talk about comicsgate, let him. I don't give a damn.
Cool.
Yep.
Quiz, Sargon, never heard of it?
Sargon is the sort of person that can get exposure to the whole idea within comicsgate, so I'm all for that. And I say EVS is all well and good, but compared to Sargon, he has a fairly limited reach. So Sargon will get it out to the more normie people that just play video games and don't really look into comics. So cool. Okay. I'm cool.
Well, Zelthor sums it up actually very nicely here. Sargon doesn't want to bring back Gamergate to bring it back. He wants Trump to tweet about it to make the journalists shit a brick. At least that's how I. And that, yeah, absolutely, that's it. If you listen to the, don't go listen to the kill stream, but if you want to, fine. I did, and it was painful, man. I wish I hadn't done it. I was doing other things to kind of listen to it in the background. I had to go shut it off after a while. It was so obnoxious. Sargon's on there to talk to Ralph about his idea, which is, okay, he had this big conversation, Sargon did, with Steve Bannon that he posted up on his channel. And culture war things and fighting for the little guy and so on, and the ways that journos write certain stories and react to certain things. And he, I think, got inspired off of that conversation. And he's like, you know what, this Gamergate thing was, it's still being talked about by lefties. It still comes up in journalistic articles where they'll say, just like the Gamergate movement of misogynists against women in gaming. And Sargon's absolutely right. They still do write about that. The only response is, and Jim pops in there right away because,
well, of course,
because Ralph ran right over and started rubbing Jim's balls and said, Jim, come on, you're the reason that my channel is even worth anything. I'm rubbing your balls. You're going to come on, right? Yeah. Sargon's here. And okay, maybe that's a little bit mean, but of course Jim showed up. Like it was just so predictable. Isn't this the exact problem that Medicare had? These Medicars having a conversation on Louis Laval's channel, and then all of a sudden Sargon pops in. Weren't you critical as fuck? Wasn't Jim critical as fuck of that? It's like, so you were hovering around waiting for this guy to show up so you could pop in.
Hypocrisy is not limited to any one person in that scenario. Everybody involved in the kill stream, whether it was Sargon or Jim or Ralph, they're all a bunch of hypocrites anyway. They play this as a game because it gets all of them exposure.
The thing, fair enough. The thing I'm the most interested in is Jim, is your material separate from all of this? Sargon, your material separate from all of this? Ralph, the only material you have is this. Like that's where I come out. Like I want to watch Jim stuff and I want to watch Sargon stuff, but I don't want to watch you guys go at each other because frankly, it's boring.
Yeah.
And that's where I come out on it. It left me just enough of this. I'm going to go, this isn't content. This is content about content. And no, thank you.
Content about content. That's a good point.
Yeah, exactly. It's just drama for the sake of having some drama. So something is happening. Just because it's a slow news day or whatever. So, yeah, I don't have any interest in people arguing. That's why I don't watch Tonka Saw and his ilk. I don't care. I don't care to hear people argue all the time. It's boring.
Yeah. It's...
if they all want to talk about comics, do it.
He's listening right now, but just your time is so much better spent and more entertainingly spent. Like you don't like Sargon. It's clear. Sargon obviously doesn't like you. It's clear. Just, oh my God. This is like Kylie Jenner versus whoever the fuck she doesn't like. I mean, you know, it's.
I don't know who that is, but yes, exactly. Yes, it's like Gregory said, it's like watching a painting of Jerry Springer dry. Yes, he is, Peter. Yes, he is.
So, hold on. Let me just... Gamergate is just imprinted on my mind, Zelther says. Of course they'll bring it up. It was the worst... Oh, imprinted on their mind. Of course they'll bring it up. It was the worst thing that happened to the internet. Yeah. Yes. They can't let it go because and their pushback against it as journalists, I think that they felt it was heroic and standing up for something. And it was... You know what I mean?
Well, they were standing up for their hobby, and that's what they're passionate about. I get it. And comics fans are doing that now. And I'm sure other fandoms will do the same thing. When social justice infiltrates slot car racing, those lonely creepers will be up in arms in their ice cream trucks, bitching and moaning up a storm. That's fine. I get it. But you can't beat that horse forever. You need to do shit or get off the pot, as my dad would say.
Man, everything comes back to comics here. Was that a Billy Kincaid reference?
Maybe.
Like as in the guy from the ice cream trucks. Yeah, I was gonna say the guy from Spawn, from like the first 10 issues of Spawn.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Did Zelthor answer Peter's question? That's a good question. I don't know. Peter, do you feel that Zelthor answered your question about Thawne?
Essentially, if you want to get into the whole bits about Eobard Thawne, it's he was the curator of the Flash Museum in the 25th century, and he hated the Flash, and it gets convoluted because it involves time travel. So it's a little difficult to explain, but yeah. Like, he hates the Flash, but he helps create the Flash, and yeah, it's, I don't know.
Well, Peter says Ethan Van Sciver rides Medicare's dick hard. Ethan Van Sciver's just open to everybody, and it's like, it's not like Medicare doesn't have a lot to offer. He's witty as fuck. He's smart as hell. His bants is like goddamn near unbeatable. He's very, very good at what he does. It's just
his large fan base, his reach.
Well, he's
and he's got a huge fan base, and you don't want to mess with that. And when he decides to turn on you, which it seems like inevitably he does, like the guy's like,
yeah,
that's what worries me about the guy. It's like, oh, I'll turn on you in a second. I guess that's the nature of a troll, and he'd be happy that it was that way. But I don't know. It's like
Medicare has commitment issues.
I think Medicare also, in terms of all of that, like EVS is looking up to him because he's established. Medicare is the sort of guy that, at least in my perception of it, he's got this whole idea about being the cool kid, and he doesn't brook anyone taking that away from him, or he doesn't like to share the spotlight. That's the reason why he goes on things like the kill stream, where Ralph just absolutely sucks his dick. That's the reason why he went on the blood sports, because everyone there sucks his dick. It's the reason why he went on with Worski, because Worski absolutely fucking sucks his dick.
I mean these, well, as true as all those things are, there's no denying, like, he manages, like, he wants to be the cool kid, and he runs it pretty well because he has a whole bunch of devoted followers in his realm. I just don't understand why, like, him and Sargon cross paths at all. Like, this is annoying. This doesn't need to happen. Like, it, yeah, I don't know. It, like, I feel like I'm going to turn on Philly D, and it's going, Philly D is going to be talking about, wow, Medicare goes after Sargon. Like, it's on that level of internet drama. Like, I would have thought that all of this was too cringy for Jim, because he seems to hate cringe and makes videos again and again about, like, how cringy this person is, that person, and he's never wrong about it. But then, like, dude, don't you realize that this, like,
hot meat kettle?
Yeah, like, this is like, you're picking away at the same guy over and over again. Don't you see this as cringy and a waste of time? I don't know.
Well, I think Sargon bruised his ego, and that can't go unanswered.
I guess I'm turning a comic book stream into a fucking Philly D episode about Sargon v.
No,
Medicare,
the D stands for douchebag. So
what's going on? You love our faces, Polly.
I was what? Nah, well, that'll be a delayed thing. If anybody has any more questions, let us know. We're gonna start wrapping it up here, and follow as Chuck Wendig sends out his resume. I'm waiting for the time that somebody, some Medicare fan happens to come by here, watch his video, hear that I said something bad about
yeah, you monster,
Super Jim, and then sends the tweet to Jim's newest account
on Jim.
Yeah, on Twitter. And then Jim's gonna be, this Polly fucker, this fag Polly, who just, and all of a sudden my Twitter's just lit up with COD players.
That'll teach you.
Yeah.
Hey man, it's free exposure. Cool. Thanks, Jim.
I have nothing against Jim. I like his content, but I don't care to listen to people argue.
That's all it comes down to. It's my criticism of the guy is only with IBS and Killstream. It's like, other than that, it's not like when a Medicare video pops up, I don't watch it. Of course I do. Big fan. I just don't want to hear content about content.
I like Jim's videos when he's talking about things that actually matter. Like his whole exposure on fucking what's his name? That journalist who was watching hentai. Fuck.
Oh, Eichenwald?
Yeah, Eichenwald.
Yeah.
The whole hatchet job he did on Eichenwald, great. I love.
Oh my god, that was brutal. It was fucking hilarious. Still my favorite thing that Medicare ever did, and I don't know why, is the 3-day stream on the Justice for Jamar thing. His commentary on just people live streaming that protest in Minnesota was hilarious. I've watched it more than once, and it was like knockdown funny because just these protesters are out there twerking for justice. Like, it was
twerking for justice.
So they were, because they start playing music, and they're supposed to be, yeah, they literally were. They, like, you know, because they're hanging around as protesters, and they start bringing in like food and music and stuff because there's a whole bunch of them there, and they've been there for a long time. And it's like, you're there for a man who was supposedly killed by the cops for unjust reasons, an unarmed black man shot dead. Why are you cooking chicken wings and twerking in the middle of the street? It was a really weird juxtaposition.
Everyone mourns in different ways, Polly.
Like,
who are you to invalidate their lived experience?
Oh no, it was valid for humor, like a way to undermine your own cause. But and that's the kind of material that I love. Jim finding weird stuff, strange stuff, funny stuff. Anger at Sargon, I just don't find it funny. I mean, yeah, he cracked some good jokes. Like when he started on the kill stream, he's like, waiter, where are my quesadillas or whatever he said. Like that was pretty funny. But then it just turned like into, wow, you're just really hostile and angry at the guy, aren't you? And it became clear real quick. Anyway, enough about all that bullshit.
Yeah.
So comics you guys are looking forward to while we're waiting for questions?
I'm looking forward to Holy Terror now in a big way, honestly. That was a damn successful pitch.
Yeah, it was a surprisingly good book. I went in there with like almost no expectations, but it turned out it was fucking great. I really dug that. I don't know, I'm a sucker for that sort of stuff. I mean, I play Warhammer for a reason. So
you mean you're a sucker for dystopian stuff or Elseworld alternative version?
I'm a sucker for the sort of religious dystopia. Like I said, I play Warhammer for a reason, and the thing about it is that it's not critical of religion at all. Really, it's critical of a church that gets too much power. Which is like at the end of it, Bruce is ordained a priest and continues being a priest. So,
well, now I don't need to read it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, you're terrible at this, man.
It's that's an extremely small part of the book, but
Bruce Wayne's an atheist.
I think it's just the fact that religion isn't really important in a Batman book.
Yeah,
unless it's built around, you know, the whole idea.
Zelthor asks about the distributionists. I don't know how you say that. Distributists. No, but link me on Twitter, man. I'd like to watch it. I'm always in the mood for content. I'd like to hear what he has to say.
Why is Lisa Bonet on the screen?
Because she's hot, you racist.
She was hot, but she was kind of crazy too.
No, this is
Angel Heart.
This is pre-Kravitz.
Oh, well, she went crazy.
Yeah, no, Lenny Kravitz drove her crazy, and I will never let it go.
Yeah,
Look at her. Happened. Back in the day, she was a fucking goddess, man. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, she was gorgeous, but she got really crazy.
I have no reason to have her on screen right now. I just do, you know.
Oh, did you guys read Return of Wolverine?
No, I didn't. How's it going?
Oh, so bad. First issue was literally like a video game. Like, he wakes up and there's a dying guy, and the guy's like, "You gotta do this for me." So he goes out on a mission side quest for this guy, and then he finds some other lady, and she's like, "You gotta do this for me," and he's like, "Okay." It was a video game interaction the entire time. It was,
you know, I was thinking about this. Not
a video game interaction.
Not to get too on the nose for discussion. I was thinking about the nature of superheroes, you know, by way of comparison to other sorts of, you know, pieces of fiction. And can it really be said that the X-Men were superheroes? I mean, yes, they have they have these wild and strange abilities and powers, but they were fairly insular in a lot of their interactions. They didn't go out and fight crime. They went out and stopped people that were, you know, other mutants that were trying to do things for political gain. They would get in politics. They would get into that. But like every other character, like each character within the X-Men was an individual that had individual goals and aspirations, and the stories were about that. They weren't about the X-Men going out and beating up thugs that were stealing purses.
Well, was that not always like, and I'm not even criticizing this, and stop deconstructing superheroes. That's so...
what are you, Tom King?
Yeah. Like I guess I kind of enjoy those conversations, but like not to, because
that could go on for a while.
Yeah, and it's 3:37 in the morning. So to answer your question, no, that's a perfectly valid question, one that you should bring up next curation. I'd be happy to get into that. One thing, but just as a quick little response of another discussion point that could go on for some time. The X-Men were always interesting to me because it was like, well, why were they there? Well, because of Xavier's school for gifted youngsters. So they're not there to put on tights and fight interdimensional threats or take down the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. They're there to learn to control their powers, and because they are to be around others like them, because they're extremely rare and they're dangerous. A lot of them are dangerous, and they're around others who don't know how to handle the danger. Like that's a big part of it. That Professor X is there. It's they're around other people who understand them, and the people that they're not going to kill. Like that's a huge part of it. Where does but it so easily clicks over to, and here's your spandex tights. Now let's go fight crime. Like the kids are in the classroom being taught by the various professors and Professor Xavier himself about like mathematics and biology and such, and then Magneto and the White Queen are doing something. Let's get our tights on, y'all. Like it was always a very easy fall over to that. Like where it's like, I don't think that Xavier ever told the parents that that's what he had in mind.
So what you're saying is that this creepy bald white guy is building a legion of armies surrounded by his philosophy, because he had a philosophy, and he is sending them out to fight other freaks. So these carnival sideshow people have joined some sort of Hitler Youth movement.
And they're all youngsters. Are you on the pederast thing again? Not everybody in comics is a pederast, Jack.
You have no evidence of that. Gerard Jones. Now, I'm wondering that he took impressionable young people and forged them into a combat unit. Isn't it horrifying? And maybe his accreditation should be revoked. Like, what kind of school is this? There are oversight groups that need to go in and look at this.
Question that I have never thought about until now. Did Xavier's have accreditation?
You would have to. It's considered a school.
Well, it's a school, but it's not a place of higher learning. It's like a boarding school.
No, you have to be accredited to be an elementary or high school.
All right.
Like you have to have state level approval, or it doesn't count as a diploma.
Yeah, and all the way down to homeschooling. Like there's means by which you're accredited as a home teacher under given criteria. Yeah. So Xavier's would have to be, wouldn't it?
I would venture a guess that it doesn't matter if he has the credentials or not. He can walk in there and just like look at them sternly, and they'll sign the papers.
So he psychically rapes them with the male gaze. I see where you're going. Okay, I need to write my Mary Sue article for the day.
And he's paralyzed from the waist down.
Those are just his oppression points.
Think about that. No. So you see, he can't act as a virile male, so he uses his super powerful male gaze in compensatory ways.
Yeah, it's toxic masculinity at its peak, because he is. I think he's a faux cripple. He's not an actual cripple. It's sort of like Obama wasn't really black theory. you know?
Right.
When he does something I don't like, he doesn't count. The No True Scotsman, that's what it's called.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just a Nazi youth group.
Yeah, well, Peter makes a good point. Is like I see why X-Men is popular. A story about oppression of minorities at a school. Yeah, current year like crazy. No wonder everyone wants to control that minor cultural icon, right? Because X-Men, there I would call them a cultural not icon, but thing, whatever.
They're a cultural icon. Yeah, they've fundamentally changed the landscape of comics. I guarantee you the X-Men, when they were created by Stan Lee back in the 60s, weren't very popular, comparatively speaking, but they, rose to extreme prominence within the comic book sort of community. And it's become a cultural staple. A lot of people will be able to tell you exactly what team, Logan is on. Who's the leader of the X-Men? Professor Xavier. It's the same sort of cultural zeitgeist as the Bruce Wayne's backstory, Superman's backstory.
Yeah, that was especially true with the Claremont run, because that really picked up the popularity of the characters.
And there's another reason that Rachel Summers is better than Jean Grey. She would have never made Iceman gay.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem, is they've taken a metaphor and made it literal. Because X-Men stood for any outsider group. And I mean, you could kind of template your own thing on that. Now they've just okay, they're the gays. Deal with it.
Yeah.
And they hammer that in every issue. They have to have the politics. They fought somebody with memes recently. Seriously, memes.
Well, I remember people making the argument, and it's always hack journalists who do shit like this, and their genetic status is as Homo sapiens superior, as mutants, is analogous to trans people and intersex people, and that's why it's really about them. And it's like, oh, you guys are so hacky. This is just
it's
wow.
Lazy. It's lazy pseudo intellectualism.
It's the worst kind of reading stuff into things to be able to make it. And you don't buy them. You don't care. You're go away. Oh God, when Zelthor starts with change my mind, it's time to wrap it up, huh?
He's arguing about SpongeBob, but isn't SpongeBob really a mutant?
Yeah.
Well, he lives under the water because he can't live around the normies because they don't accept him. It's obvious that SpongeBob is trans.
He's a talking sponge. I don't walk around seeing sponges talk to me. That's weird. He's a mutant, just like Patrick, his friend, the retard.
Fucking mutie.
Oh my God, so 80s.
Well, at 3:45 in the morning, depending on what time zone you're in, of course, we still have 12 viewers, which is awesome. You guys rock. Seriously. If you haven't liked already, please feel free to backhand that like button and share if you enjoyed this really random and all over the place and tangential comic book curation. My final thoughts. Buy your back issues. You can support the comic book industry that way. You can totally keep it alive by the interest continuing to go. You don't have to buy the bad stuff if you don't like it, because there's lots of great used material, especially collected stuff out there. Quiz.
Comic conventions, swap meets, flea markets, shit like that. You can get exposure to stuff that you never would have even thought. My pitch today came from that.
Good call. Yeah, it did. Yeah. Jack.
I'm pretty sure that this is just my theory that Ryan Johnson is in fact the Great Pumpkin.
Okay. Are you what?
You're a good man, Charlie Brown.
I'm like waiting for this to be connected to Ichabod Crane and a man carrying his own round head in Sleepy Hollow. No, what? Huh? What's happening?
Don't overthink the joke, dude.
Oh shit! All right, Johnny Hellcat's off. Have a good night, Johnny, and everybody else. Have a good night. Thanks for joining us. You guys are awesome. Laters.
Take care, everyone.